Louisville, Kentucky on this wonderful Saturday night. Bill Shakespeare once wrote, "A rose by any other name would smell as sweet." But what about a club with a new crest? We find out tonight as the USL Championships 2018 MVP Cameron Lancaster leads Louisville City. New crest on chest, new contract in hand against a scrappy young Atlanta side led by Jackson Conway, a 19-year-old with Champions League pedigree on opening night. The 2021 USL Championship season begins tonight with a light drizzle in Louisville, Kentucky. It's about 50% capacity, 7,500 at Lynn Family Stadium as Louisville City takes on Atlanta United 2. And with Devin Kerr, Mike Watts on hand, welcoming you to this new campaign. It's a 32-game schedule over 28 weeks. The league will ultimately now have 4 divisions, top 4 in each division going to the postseason, leading to our USL Championship final November 28th. A lot to do between now and then, Dev.
Essentially, we're going back to 8 from each conference, right? I mean, it's broken into divisions for sure, but it's similar to what we saw in 2018. And who doesn't want to see Phoenix play the Rowdies and Louisville play San Diego? I'm here for it. But the Central Division, Mike, you and I were talking off air, taking a look at everything. We both agree that this is top heavy, right? It's Birmingham and all the work that they've done. Louisville trying to repeat again. Indy and FC Tulsa, and then everybody else. But remember, stranger things have happened. This is going to get real interesting down the stretch.
Yeah, no question. Think back to Louisville's 2020 season. This was the best team in the Eastern Conference for the last 2.5 months of the year, and it all came to a screeching halt.
By far. It wasn't even an argument. The Tampa Bay Rowdies did win that argument, though, and though they didn't get the final, they were the talking point of the Eastern Conference. Louisville is so good at setting a precedent that everybody else to follow. The difference for Louisville is they break through that barrier, and they're going to have to do it once again, Mike, because they lost a lot of people, but they have added some key components here. Simone Lefebvre is one you want to keep an eye on. The goalkeeping position in general, no Speedy Williams instead of Tyler Gibson, but the most important has to be Cameron Lancaster in the number 9 position. Remember, on loan last year.
These are our Commonwealth Credit Union players to watch. Commonwealth Credit Union has been bettering the lives of communities they serve for 70 years. To learn more, WeSeeYouDifferently.com. And here are the players to watch for Atlanta. Not all of them here tonight, but all critical.
Very impactful. And the one that you want to look at here, just rotate your eyes all the way to the left side of the screen. Real simple. Jackson Conway. You talked about the Champions League experience. They're trying to work him into the number 1 spot, or at least get help from Joseph Martinez and Gabriel Heinz's squad. And this is how they're going to line up. He will stay in the number 9 spot. You know, he's got 4 new acquisitions that are taking place tonight. Daro Mateus on the left mid. Quality. Aiden McFadden, actually a holding midfielder by trade, is going to take out the outside back position. Tyler Wolf will step into the attacking mid. Chris Allen next to Brennan Lamb. What's that going to be like? University of Charleston, West Virginia, and Josh Bauer, highly touted out of the University of New Hampshire. Louisville City, it's a much ado about nothing in the sense we've seen a lot of these names before, though some of them have moved. How about Jogo? Jonathan Gomez taking over the left back spot. Oscar Jimenez rotates to right. Akil Watts will slide into the midfield position. That front line, though, Mr. Reliable. Now McCabe next to Cameron Lancaster and Napo Masoso.
The opening night starting lineups presented by Hometown Pizza. Well, here we go. It's a great 2021 season ahead, and it begins in Kentucky. Blue City, ATL UTD 2, when we return.
When it comes to hybrid technology, nobody has more hybrid models than Toyota. From the Prius, the hybrid that started it all, to America's best-selling car, Camry, and best-selling SUV, RAV4, to the first-ever Corolla hybrid, the new best-in-class Highlander hybrid, and now the first-ever Sienna hybrid minivan, and Venza, the first exclusively all-wheel drive hybrid. They all come with a new 10-year, 150,000-mile battery warranty. Nobody knows hybrids like Toyota. Let's go places.
Fresh roast chicken is on the menu at Corrales. Peruvian spices and a blazing charcoal rotisserie make for mouth-watering flavor. And now all of our chicken is gluten-free. Visit Corrales Rotisserie Chicken today with 5 locations including Baxter Avenue and New Cut Road.
For the last 70 years, Commonwealth Credit Union has been bettering lives in our communities and putting members first in everything we do. So to celebrate 70 years of service, we're committing to 70 acts of service, from partnering with the Make-A-Wish Foundation to hosting community blood drives.
If you have an act of service you think we should complete this year, we want to hear from you. Visit our website to submit your idea for consideration as we make our 70th year one to remember.
Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
In the United States, we see more tornado outbreaks than anywhere else in the world. Being prepared is being safer. Tornadoes start as an EF0. 65 to 85-mile-an-hour winds will cause broken tree limbs and roof damage. An EF2 tornado can destroy mobile homes and snap power poles. If you are without a basement, keep as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Tracking severe weather is a science. Be prepared with the WDRB Weather Team.
Fresh roasted chicken is on the menu at Corrales. Peruvian spices and a blazing charcoal rotisserie make for mouth-watering flavor. And now all of our chicken is gluten-free. Visit Corrales Rotisserie Chicken today with 5 locations including Baxter Avenue and New Cut Road.
Lynn Family Stadium, and yes, that's the TIFO. Brilliant, isn't it, Dev?
Love it. Makes me hungry.
Louisville City, Atlanta United 2 set to kick off the 2021 USL Championship season. About 7,500 are packed in here. There was a moment shortly before kickoff, a unity circle between the two teams, as last year just as much about the play on the field as the social initiatives of these players off the field. It's something that will continue to be front and center moving forward. The 2021 USL Championship season is officially underway. It's Louisville City and Atlanta United 2. Dev, we have waited a long time for this. We spoke with Louisville City's coaching staff in the lead up. It was a 10-week preseason. It's been 182 days since Tampa Bay came into Louisville, knocked them off in the Eastern Conference Final. For Atlanta United 2, there was no postseason run last year. Both sides just, I think, ready to get back to it. As Louisville drives forward with Lancaster at the helm. Jimenez leads down the right side. Maybe chance get this into the middle. Masoso, Del Piccolo, the back heel. Slot out Masoso, who's got a new number this year. He took over Magnus Rasmussen's old number 7. It's a goal kick. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. No, it's not Rocco Rios Novo, who became the talk of Champions League for Atlanta United. It's Vicente Reyes who starts in goal on opening day for Atlanta United 2. Tosh.
A couple academy players floating around for Atlanta United 2 this evening. Reyes is one. Brendan Lamb in the midfield next to Chris Allen.
Niall McCabe. McCabe nearly slipped that at Masoso, making that driving run inside. Masoso took over, but there is a foul. Pull at the back of Brendan Lamb. Another one of those Atlanta Academy products.
Well, think about that, Mike. Out of the 11, 4 are new acquisitions. We talked a little bit about them. Aiden McFadden, Chris Allen. Mateus on the left side. And Josh Bauer, on the back line. And then you got 4 academy players as well. So the veterans, quote unquote, are kids like Jackson Conway. You know, finally made, with all of that he's done for Atlanta United 2 since 2018, finally made a homegrown 21 season, moving on. 11 goals over the past 2 seasons in 26 appearances. Not too shabby.
Just 19 years old. Gomez out here for McCabe. Last year's opener, Atlanta started 3 who made their professional debut, and 3 more who are making their team debut. Masoso from Jimenez. Louisville early on the gas pedal, ball knocked in, and Reyes slides over top of it. Good early start for Corbin Bone and this Louisville City attack.
The first couple times here, we've seen them attack that far side, and Louisville City, I like the idea that they've gone aggressive here. Also take some baby steps here, though, Mike, for everything that went on in the offseason. Talked about the acquisitions. Okay, great. So you get Cameron Lancaster. That's fantastic. We know the goalkeepers. Babyface assassin Jimmy McLaughlin comes in, but a lot of losses too. You don't want to have to worry about going out and repeating the same form that we saw towards the end of the season. Take some baby steps here because it's going to be a different look. It's all about personality for John Hackworth and getting guys assimilated into the system itself. And for Atlanta United too, it is going to be about system success because there is so much rotation, meaning they, look, you and I were talking, they, what, 8-10 players signed to the two-team roster a couple days ago? Loanees from the first team. Tony Ennin headed off to University of South Carolina. There's a lot of unknowns, but what's not unknown is the vision of Gabriel Heinze and what he's looking to do with his organization. Now, that starts with his MLS squad, his USL team, and Atlanta United too, and of course, moving down through the academy ranks. They train these guys so that whatever level you are at, you step in and go and get the job done. That's exactly what they need to do tonight.
Corbin Bone downshifts. Those keys to the game were powered by Kentucky Lottery. We remind you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs. Ball knocked across toward Del Piccolo, who again is making that diving central run toward goal. Del Piccolo nods this back. Louisville holding in the final third again. Clever from McCabe. Akil Watts, Corbin Bone now. The turn by McCabe. McCabe went for goal. Sent that into the biggest bar in all of Kentucky.
This place would have erupted if he ended up sticking one in the back of the net in opening 5 minutes. Think about the fact only 5 appearances last year, and the first one since July 29th. Remember, this was the guy who has been here since the beginning. Louisville faithful since 2015. Pretty much done everything for this club over those years.
Finally, a touch for Jackson Conway, leading Gannon. First attack here for Atlanta, sliced through the 18, and Tosh is there. First team All-League last year for Louisville City at center back. Where did he not play in the back line or even in holding mid over these past couple of years? Bauer leading Bradley Camden. His 92nd USL Championship appearance. Jimenez. Allen. Bauer. Did that catch the hand of Coleman Gannon? It didn't. McFadden. And now Wolf. There's a lot of excitement around Tyler Wolf right now in Austin, in Atlanta, in Columbus. His dad, the coach at Austin FC, Josh Wolf. And Akil Watts with an obvious foul on Darwin Mateus.
They're going to have their work cut out for him in that midfield with Tyler Wolf being the attacking option. Chris Allen and Brendan Lamb are 2 out-and-out number 6s. Make no mistake about it. Like to sit in that space that's going to be created if they don't transition appropriately. Side to side is fine, but when this unit steps, they've got to go together. Because very rarely, at least from what I've seen out of them at the collegiate level, and of course Brendan Lamb Academy and with Atlanta United too, what he's capable of. They both like to sit, so if they don't take that extra step, you're just asking Corbin Bone and Del Piccolo to play between the lines with Akil Watts, create a little 3-headed monster. Louisville rule the midfield, they're going to rule the roost. You have to be very careful with that.
Lancaster appealed for a foul, didn't get it. And the turn by Mateus around Tosh. And this will come back to the tug by Tosh. Free kick for Atlanta, and about 7,500 fans make their opinion known. Lukasz Sapala, the official for this opening championship game in 2021.
Can't really blame Tosh on the first one, but coming back around, it's more of a persistent infringement, if you will. Flipped him on his heel and then continued forth. Don't necessarily know if I would agree with the decision.
Neither does he. Mateus seems to think this is his to take. Latest South American starlet to make his way into the Peach State. Mateus That's not the answer. There's Chris Hubbard, and it's his job for now. Came out of Trinity High School, went to Notre Dame, 3-year starter there, shutouts in a third of the games. In 2019, he really broke through. Didn't play a great championship final against Real Monarchs. Louisville lost that game 3-1. Simone Lefebvre is available, didn't arrive until mid-March, and the battle to replace Ben Lunt for now is in Hubbard's court.
I do love the fact that the coaching staff, John Hackworth specifically, he really opened up about that spot, right? That it was going to be, that was the obvious area that they needed to address outside of getting the work done with Cameron Lancaster in the number 9 spot. But then almost immediately, their fears were put at ease because Chris Hubbard was so good in preseason. Simone Lefebvre, although coming in late, has kept himself in really good shape, and they were actually pleasantly surprised by Parker Siegfried, of course now on loan with Sporting Kansas City, but an area that they were really concerned about, and all of a sudden they've got a problem, and that's a good problem to have, Mike.
John Hackworth was telling us, why is Kansas City calling about my third string goalkeeper? Turns out they may have found much more than just a piece of coal in Detroit City. Keel Watts turns in midfield. First shot for him, that holding midfield position. Such a good preseason, they couldn't justify leaving him out. Bone drops in. Tosh. And here's Jimenez. Bone got in behind. And a good recovery by Caleb Wiley. Camden. Bone got a piece. So did Del Piccolo. Masoso. Poor pass into the middle, and an excellent sliding challenge to catch a piece of that by Sawahi. Lancaster. Driven ball ahead. Lancaster got something on that. Dev, I think there's a fair number of fans who've watched Louisville over the years who think their TV might need adjusting, seeing Oscar Jimenez on the right.
It's an area that they've had to sort of address over the past 3 years by that man right there at the helm, John Hackworth. Danny Cruz, his sidekick in the background. A little left and right that been trying to get Oscar Jimenez on that left-hand flank if possible. Felt like they were able to do that at the end of last year. Of course, Pat McMahon at that point in time had really asserted himself at the outside right back. But going back to your conversation you started about Akil Watts, same thing for Jonathan Gomez. He said we had to get those guys on the field at the same time because they were that good in preseason. And that's a real testament to what this club has been able to do, because you look at a kid like Akil Watts, repetition for John Hackworth at the Youth National Program prior to his entrance into Louisville City culture. Jonathan Gomez brought up through the youth ranks and then coming over for Louisville last year. Slowly made his way into things, but everything that you always heard from the organization, from the coaching staff, and from the players was that these guys could play. They were always right there with us, didn't necessarily break through, and yet here we are, Lynn Family Stadium, match day 1, and then they're a starting 11.
Sawahi under pressure. Flick backward. Camden has it under control. And scooped up by Hubbard. Enough note, you think back to when Sean Francis was playing for Louisville, he exclusively played on the left. It wasn't until Oscar Jimenez switched back to the left-hand side due to Francis's international duty at Gold Cup. He really broke through. This will roll all the way to Hubbard again. Coleman Gannon in pursuit. And it's the 17-year-old Jonathan Gomez poking this forward. McCabe runs right up to Reyes.
I want to cap that all off, Mike. It all starts really with the departure of James O'Connor and someone he took with him in Kyle Smith. You know, by him leaving that right side and vacating that position, almost every single year they've been trying to fill it, kind of trial by fire or by a committee, if you will.
Del Piccolo remains down here. Captaining the side again, former University of Louisville product who did lead that side to the College Cup. It's hard to say back in the day about something that happened about a decade ago, but here we are.
Go ahead, date yourself. Get right in there.
It's a 5th-3rd free kick. McCabe, header back across, saved off the line, Reyes, and then the sliding effort sends it wide. Cameron Lancaster went diving in for that at the end. Reyes somehow kept this out.
This is some kind of reaction by Vicente Reyes. In traffic, ball whipped into the mixer, and actually comes off one of the Atlanta United 2 players. Josh Bauer getting stuck in on the tail end of this. Watch this come back across low, bottom right corner. Seems like the goalkeeping position isn't a problem for the Atlanta organization.
17-year-old who was born in Charleston, South Carolina. Always played up in age group. Well, now he's playing up in age bracket. He's with pros now. That's a good first foray to 2021 for a guy who started 3 games last year and actually won 2 of Atlanta's 3 team victories. The starting goalkeeper. Had to know both these coaches missed nodding their head disapprovingly at referees.
About 4.5, 5 minutes in, I just kind of gave a little shout to the producers. I can hear you hack yelling at the 4th official already.
Some things don't change. It's clipped high and wide. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Wild pace. It feels like a bit of pent-up energy here for these 2 sides. Coming out of an elongated preseason. It's a throw for Aiden McFadden, who chose to opt out of the spring season at Notre Dame, being drafted in the 3rd round, the MLS Super Draft.
I do not envy the decision-making process for these young men this year and how that all played out, Mike. It's a great problem to have in the fact that you have the opportunity to get drafted. But if you think about it, if you leave school, go to the MLS organization, go into spring training, you know, you're getting an opportunity to sign for a first-team squad. And then if you don't make it, you can't go back to school.
Tony Annan knows all about that now. Was announced this week as the new head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks. Has some pretty big shoes to fill. Mark Burson there for 43 years. Was the active head coaching victory leader in all of Division I men's college soccer. But also has to share a university with Shelley Smith, who's done such a great job the women's program there at South Carolina. You and I spoke with Stephen Glass, who left for Aberdeen after being the interim manager of the MLS side last year for the tail end of the season. Del Piccolo continues to chase. It's turned over to McCabe. Bone gave chase. Lancaster lashes this high and nearly met the scoreboard. It was deflected. Will be a corner.
Well, the argument by Caleb Wiley on the left side was he was shocked that this did take a deflection, and Corbin Bone actually caught by surprise here. I think he felt he had more time than available to him. Great reaction by Cameron Lancaster just to get anything off.
See what Louisville can do with the corner here in the 19th. Jimenez, header is steered away. It was Del Piccolo who got the first piece. Lancaster gives it a rip. Throw from McCabe. He'll see to Gomez. Gomez bounces all the way through and out the other side. Wiley, Mateus. This will be a throw.
You said it was a frantic start. It's also a weird one in the sense that, outside of the fact that there's a lot of energy and it's back and forth, there's no real settling into any sort of rhythm, right? It's kind of this up and down. There's been a couple of foul calls. It's really disrupted the flow of play. Half chances on one end, kind of frantic in the box. Set pieces. It's a lot to cram into 20 minutes.
Good escape by Chris Allen. There are 20 minutes in the books of this opening game, the 2021 season. Later tonight at One Oak Field, Black Gold Derby, Oklahoma City and FC Tulsa will be over on ESPN+. 2 games in this opening weekend of what's a bit of a soft launch for the USL Championship this year. Meanwhile, USL League One has been at it for weeks now. I believe 3 of those games tonight over on ESPN+.
Yeah. Baby brother getting out in front, little tortoise and hare type thing.
We shall see. Gomez, McCabe. Play will come back here. It was offside.
It is interesting for me with the linesman so far, and the head referee didn't exactly see it.
McCabe, Lancaster. Wolf. It's nice having supporters back, isn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of
eerie.
It's eerie. You lose the ambiance, of course. We did get spoiled by picking up more from the players and coaches, of course, from the crowd mics, but I'd much rather have the supporters.
Gannon, Wolf slipped down again, and for some reason this field has just been a little difficult to navigate with all the rain.
It's a good recovery by Jonathan Gomez, and his tackle going to ground, just trying to usher the ball out, actually catches the deflection. The relationship on this back line is a fun one to watch in the opening 23 minutes. John Hackworth in Louisville City, they pride themselves on over rotation, under rotation, trying new things, watching different leagues around the world. And what he has allowed this back line to do, the inversion by Jonathan Gomez and Oscar Jimenez is nothing new. But if you keep an eye on Lexi Swahi and Sean Tosh, he's actually giving them much more freedom than we've seen in games past, where he's allowing them two at the same time to step up into the midfield. That attacking center back type role where, Jimenez and Jogo will then step back and pinch in. That's not a look we've seen from Louisville City before. Add another weapon to the arsenal.
Gomez here. It was interesting talking to John Hackworth, and he didn't name any specific teams necessarily, but how he watches other leagues over this offseason to try and get a better grip on presses they can do better, formations they can potentially use. All the while, from what we know, Danny Cruz was only climbing trees this offseason.
You're bringing it up.
Yeah, sure.
You had to go there.
What kind of tree was it we were hearing?
Eucalyptus and
No,
New Zealand Christmas tree.
that was the rumor. Press here for Louisville nearly got home. Allen helped a downshift, and then the foul with Wolf going down, and Swahi picks up card number 1 of this new season. Some things really don't change. He only had 3 last year in 13 games, but he's the first to head into the book.
That's going to be a trivia question at one of the supporters groups tonight somewhere. First yellow card of the 2021 season. I mean, it's right at the whistle, but he knows he gets it wrong. You have to respect the referee for willing to step in there and do that, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no question that that's a yellow card. None. Approaching the final third. Dancing over the ball, Gannon. Back here for Lamb. Back by Wiley. Bauer now did get 3 pro games in with Birmingham in the fall. Slide in was ill-fated from Lancaster. Gannon. Del Piccolo is ruining the moment. It is a corner for Atlanta in the 26th.
Either Mateus or Gannon, left and right respectively, are actually willing to cut inside and challenge the interior. So as they stay hugging this touchline, it forces the outside backs to really stay true to themselves, and does open up some more space on the interior. Atlanta United 2 trying to take advantage of.
Atlanta did go short. McFadden skies up. Tosh in pursuit. After battling with Conway, Allen's in the thick of it, and Tosh won it. Lancaster spun away, ball in tow. Past Watts. Comes over to Del Piccolo, and Corbin Bone. This will drift all the way out. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Gone out, but the offside flag was up as well. Atlanta last year, 12 points, last in Group H. Leading ahead, flicked over toward Conway. Recovery by Bone. McCabe. Breaking through Lamb. There's Masoso. He got tugged down by Mateus.
It's beautifully done by Sean Tosh, though, to allow this ball to just see itself right to Masoso's feet. Easy enough for a center back to just clear this out the other direction, but he's got the great vision, Sean Tosh, and it helps them maintain this discipline of their shape and principles moving forward. A lot of rotation, everybody willing to be on the ball at any point in time.
Menez cutting in. Lancaster couldn't connect on the give and go. Driven ball through, and this will find Gannon with Gomez hot on his heels. Gannon! And there's the save by Hubbard, kicking it aside. And meanwhile, Toews fell down, and Louisville spares their blushes not once but twice. That time it was Conway going to ground.
I actually thought he might have been in an offside position, but the way that this ball falls through, of course, coming right off the commentator's curse, Coleman Gannon staying on the right flank the entire time. Great little check to the interior. And that is what happens, Mike, when you allow your center backs to start to push into the midfield, to gain possession. You open your back line, and that timeout, neither of your outside backs tucked in to help out. So quick little touch, and they're off to the races.
Bit more direct again here with Wiley getting deep down the field. Throw here for Louisville. Devin, we're nearing the half-hour mark here in this season opener for both these sides. Try and prognosticate a little bit. What are these coaches looking at as positives and negatives at this stage?
We'll start with the visitors. The fact that it's still 0-0 in the 30th minute. I mean, if you would have told me after 5 minutes in this match no one would have scored yet from Louisville, I would have told you you're lying to me. That's crazy because they came out so fast. And it is something that we saw from them quite often in the 2020 campaign. You know, they went out opening 10, 15 minutes trying to get a goal, many a time that they did, and then they slowed down. That has happened here again. And for Atlanta United too, you're building back into this game. You know, they're not backing down from these challenges. Yes, a lot of possession was conceded early on, but Tony Ennin has just kept his boys calm. Coleman Gannon starting to find his way in. In order for them to have overall success, they need Tyler Wolff on the ball more, though, because a lot of this is counterattacking style, just long balls up top with a hope. For Louisville City, they're going to be frustrated at the fact that they haven't broken the deadlock. Again, so many chances, and referencing 2020 again, that did come back to haunt them a couple of times. Better opposition, possibly, but I still haven't really seen any full fluid movements out of Louisville City. We've talked about new things that they did in 2020, but not exactly what's taken place here in 2021. Little touches by McCabe, Lancaster, Masoso, all off though. Those three haven't been able to combine. Del Piccolo, Bone, and Watts, wouldn't say that they're exactly on the same page. And defending, we see things spread out. And a couple of steps, I like the idea of the center backs coming up in. I think that the discipline of the outside backs has to be better, but still, it's very confusing 32 minutes into the match, what we've seen so far.
Camden trying to hold off Lancaster, did take the ball away, lost his footing as well, and now leading Masoso down into the corner. Referee gives a long look, a foul, and a yellow card. Well, dangerous moment there. Bradley Camden captains the side tonight. He'll play on a yellow the rest of the way. Good free kick opportunity to come.
Yeah, smartly done here by Louisville City, and this is that quick little challenge. That's the speed, though, of Bradley Camden that we've seen in seasons past. Like you and I were kind of perplexed at the fact they were moving him to the interior as he's mostly utilized as an outside back. But it's a great move by Tony Ennin because there's the speed when you have to chase, because Louisville quite rapidly turned this into a five-man front on the attacking side of things.
And off that, what feels a bit like a short corner here for Louisville. You can really put some whip on this. Del Piccolo decides to send it swinging toward goal, or Jimenez tries to glide this away. When we get our first goal this championship season, Del Piccolo did appear to go to goal. Reyes able to pop it over the bar. Corner.
Vicente Reyes caught off by this a little bit, and as was I. Paulo Del Piccolo thinking otherwise, though, and he whips it in, whips it with pace. There's a little bit of English on it to cut it back towards the goalkeeper, but smartly done by Reyes to push this up over top of the bar in traffic.
Corner, Jimenez. Jimenez delivers over Sawahi. Caromed out to McCabe. Masoso dancing, and he lost it. Dangerous moment to come here from Atlanta. McCabe screaming for offside. Mateus indeed was. Well, you have to appreciate Masoso's confidence in that moment, but if you lose the ball, you are really tempting fate.
They're walking a fine line right now with this back four. The high line that they're playing, the pressure that they're trying to apply, overloading the midfield. And over the past 5-6 minutes, ATO UTD2, they're starting to pick up on that.
Tosh, a slow ball into Del Piccolo, and now Louisville into fourth gear. Gomez. As McCabe wide, finds Del Piccolo with space. There's your championship final MVP from 2017. Del Piccolo, sort of the linchpin of this midfield when you really think about it. Has been for years. Dealt with all those injuries 2019 into 2020, and when he is in the lineup, it's a ultimate calm and steady to him, but the ability to rotate somewhat unmatched. There's Del Piccolo again. McCabe. Excellent ball ahead. Lancaster. Back heel here, McCabe. McCabe lofts. Masoso had overrun the mark. And recovered here by Bone.
These guys are really struggling with their footing, huh? I mean, both sides.
I'd say longer studs, but
that's the easy change, but obviously not right now.
Watts. Bone! There's Reyes there again. Stab back down, and Louisville was looking for one more go. Attack continues down the right. Jimenez. Tosh slides in, and Tosh was walking a fine line. That was his third or fourth foul. That is a yellow.
Now both your center backs 37 minutes into the match after Lexi Swahi knocked the one away after the whistle. Now he and Sean Tosh sitting on yellows.
And you are without Wes Sharpie tonight. Joshua Winder, the 15-year-old center back out of the academy, someone they are really excited about. Maybe not a guy you expect to throw to the fire on day one. He's the only center back available off the bench. Three cards, all for center backs. It's referee after your own heart, Devin.
Must have known I was on the game today.
Good ball to break lines. Head toward Lancaster. This will be scooped up by Reyes. The USL is committed to supporting the LGBTQ+ community through the Forever Proud project. The USL will strive to create safe and welcoming environments for all fans, players, employees, and partners. Learn more at uslsoccer.com//forever-proud. And it is a really big initiative from league headquarters. This ball across, Reyes got a piece. Sends that squirting back up the middle of the 18-yard box. And the referee stops play as Tosh got dumped, and Lukasz Sapala is going to bring this all the way back.
Well, that sequence just seconds ago gives you an idea of what John Hackworth is talking about with Jonathan Gomez at the outside back position, having such a good preseason, having to get him on the field because the writing's on the wall that it's going to be played in by Niall McCabe. It's one of those things, though, you can't stop it. You can only hope to contain because it's such a good ball back across by Jonathan Gomez. Hit with pace, low on the ground, Reyes has to do a lot just to get even a touch on it.
Gomez wasn't able to control that, and this will get beyond Conway. Dev, just how difficult is it playing on just a really slick surface?
It's difficult in general, yet on the fact that you don't have proper footing. You know, what tends to happen on surfaces like this is when you go with the longer stud, your feet are going to stick a little bit more. Sometimes the game slows down and can actually cause more injuries. But you have that sure-footedness, right? The guys don't have that right now. So a lot of times they're looking to turn, and whether it's a little touch or a spin off to try and get down into the corner, they're not trusting the surface, and that's hard because you're questioning the run that's coming around the outside, the tuck that's coming in through the middle, the pressure that's coming over the back. You know, simplistic things that are second nature to some of these players are now coming into your thought process that's going to cloud your judgment. And to be fair, we've seen that from both of these squads. I mean, 40 minutes in, nobody looks comfortable.
That's the 4th yellow card that's been issued. 3 to the Louisville back line, 1 to the Atlanta back line. And of note, the referee today, you see HD on that blue wristband that he's wearing. This is an annual effort to support Huntington's Disease Awareness Month. Pro referees have done this for years in support of Terry Vaughn. There's more information on proreferees.com, but so often we love to take jabs from time to time at referees. Ultimately, they all try their best. For them, it's their first game of the year, too. I think so far Lucas Sapol has been on the mark. And all the while, they do have causes very important to them as well, so one worth highlighting. This rolls ahead to Del Piccolo. That's a clear handball, was it not? Indeed. It's Wiley, 15-year-old left back, starting last year. Louisville thought they'd go right for the jugular.
Goal of the year, just like that. Shades of, was that Solomon Asante in 2018? Hit the one from half field against Orange County. A little chip up over the top.
I'm thinking of one that was scored by FC Cincinnati at Ottawa.
Oh, that's Kenny Walker.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah, so.
He's part of this Louisville group at the end of last season.
Indeed.
Oh, that side volley 60 yards out.
Right.
Like looking at myself in the mirror. When I was 12, of course, but you know, still. At one point in time. I mean, that mirror's been broken and recycled and
meanwhile,
turned into rubble.
Devin's celebrating his 12th birthday for the 20th time this year.
Lost count of that, too.
Mike Watts, Devin Kerr just short of halftime. Louisville looking strong into the attack here. It's Corbin Bone. Bone, McFadden overtook him. Rolled back through at the top of the 18. Clever idea to step by and force through by Lamb. And now Conway leading this down the left. Mateus was available. That was broken up. Masoso came back, and McCabe forgot something. McFadden once more. There's Jimenez. Coming up at halftime, we'll tell you what's coming up around the USL Championship, including tonight's upcoming matchup, and we'll remind you of what's been a busy USL Championship offseason in Louisville. This is a shared venue now, Dev. Comes out the Lamb. Allen. Tony Annan wanted the switch, he got it. And lofted by Wiley, out of play.
Double the trouble, double the fun in Bourbontown now.
Christy Holly, we believe, is in the building. John Hackworth was at the NWSL inaugural game for Racing Louisville up in the owner's box, John Neese's box, a couple of weeks ago. And the footing comes into play again. Look at all this space here. Conway can't do anything with it. Stumbles back to his feet. The back heel down the line for Gannon.
Hey, tell Darwin to get the 6. Darwin needs to get the 6.
And out over the end line in the Estopanel end.
This is some of the little things I talk about for Louisville. Watch the break and watch the run by Lancaster. He just takes the passing lane away. There's no reason to cut back across. Napa put Mososo on the backside. Lancaster holds suit in the middle. Then you have two options, three actually, if Corbin Bone wants to go it alone, because he can go it himself. He's got Mososo on the right, Lancaster on the left, but the second he cuts back across, you take the options away, and it's really been the source of frustration for Louisville here in the first half, getting in their own way outside of the pitch, and some unnecessary turnovers that Atlanta United have forced for them. It's not as crisp, and I'm not taking anything away from Atlanta United too, to be fair, but the balls coming through aren't as crisp. It almost looks like they're hit with a tentative action, like, okay, can I play this ball, instead of here you go, let's keep going.
That was a good idea by Gomez, and now Watts takes over. Watts gets the return ball, leads past Mososo onto the foot of Jimenez. Jimenez, Watts, lost it momentarily, and now nutmegged out. And on to Jonathan Gomez, who's being looked at by the kind of club that would join, I don't know, a European Super League of sorts. McCabe cuts this across. Recovered by Akil Watts. As it turns out, Liverpool did actually walk alone into that European Super League, didn't they, Dev?
Oh,
I've touched a sore spot.
yeah, I mean, can't really say much with their recent performances. So.
One additional minute of first half stoppage time. Rolls off the foot of Lancaster. Stoppage time is presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Just the 1 minute. McCabe. Nicholas Murray, our resident USL encyclopedia, made a full list of all the players who had scored the first goal of the championship season, and with a scoreless first half, it appears, may end up coming in the western half of this Central Division. May end up coming out of that OKC and Tulsa game. It is halftime here, Devin. Scoreless at the break.
An awkward one in the opening 45 minutes for sure. And if I'm Tony Ennin, I'm going to say, guys, you know, well done. Way to stay in there. You're going to have to pick and choose your moments, because this Louisville team in the second half is going to be a totally different squad. John Hackworth, Danny Cruz, it's going to be a conversation of settle down, get it together, because everything that they've worked on in preseason has not matriculated onto the pitch. They will come out with a vengeance in the second half.
As they say, 45 minutes down, 45 minutes to go. It is scoreless between Atlanta and Louisville at halftime. We'll walk you through the offseason of soccer in Louisville, Kentucky, and take a look back at first half highlights like that when we return the opening night in the championship.
When it comes to hybrid technology, nobody has more hybrid models than Toyota. From the Prius, the hybrid that started it all, to America's best-selling car, Camry, and best-selling SUV, RAV4, to the first-ever Corolla hybrid, the new best-in-class Highlander hybrid, and now the first-ever Sienna hybrid minivan, and Venza, the first exclusively all-wheel drive hybrid. They all come with a new 10-year, 150,000-mile battery warranty. Nobody knows hybrids like Toyota. Let's go places.
For the last 70 years, Commonwealth Credit Union has been bettering lives in our communities and putting members first in everything we do. So to celebrate 70 years of service, we're committing to 70 acts of service, from partnering with the Make-A-Wish Foundation to hosting community blood drives.
If you have an act of service you think we should complete this year, we want to hear from you. Visit our website to submit your idea for consideration as we make our 70th year one to remember.
Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
WDRB in the Morning invites you to be our guest at Hometown Pizza. Pizza's made to order with Kentucky Proud ingredients and homemade sauce. Hometown Brewing Company is now pouring at the Preston Highway location. Thursday morning at 9, WDRB.com will offer $20 Hometown Pizza gift certificates at half price, just $10. But don't wait, because they go fast. Be our guest at Hometown Pizza. Another great value from WDRB.com.
For the first time in 12 years, Super Late Models are back at Salem Speedway. Sunday, April 25th, the High Banks come alive with the ARCA CRA Super Series, JAG CRA All-Stars Tour, CRA Street Stocks, and Great American Stocks. The Lucas Oil Midwest 250, presented by Scott County Tourism, begins with qualifying at 12:30 and racing at 2 p.m. For discounted tickets and info, check out SalemSpeedway.com. It's the Midwest 250, featuring Super Late Models, Sunday, April 25th.
Welcome back to the USL Championships opening day in Kentucky. So glad you're along for the ride, as we hope you will be for all 32 games of both these side seasons on ESPN Plus and beyond. With Devin Kerr, Mike Watts on hand, and in Louisville, so much has been made of these fluttering eyelashes, this beautiful new venue. It'll host College Cup and certainly plenty event. It'll be about 7,500 again, 50% capacity, as we do have a sellout here tonight. Purple sky, perfect backdrop, as Louisville City and Atlanta United 2 are scoreless at halftime in Kentucky. Highlights and more when we return.
San Diego takes the lead.
For the fans who started painting 3 hours before the game. For the fans who celebrate with high fives. For the huggers. The chest bumpers. And this guy. For fans like you who do things your way, there's Park Community Credit Union. Your city, your team, your way.
Are you hungry? You should get yourself down to Four Pegs in Germantown. Try some of their delicious smoked brisket, ribs, and wings. We source only the freshest ingredients. And check out our massive beer selection. Join us Saturday and Sunday for our most awesome brunch. Smoked Bloody Marys, ribs, and eggs. And come hang out on our newly remodeled patio. Check us out on social media or at fourpegs.net.
When it comes to hybrid technology, nobody has more hybrid models than Toyota. From the Prius, the hybrid that started it all, to America's best-selling car, Camry, and best-selling SUV, RAV4, to the first-ever Corolla hybrid, the new best-in-class Highlander hybrid, and now the first-ever Sienna hybrid minivan, and Venza, the first exclusively all-wheel drive hybrid. They all come with a new 10-year, 150,000-mile battery warranty. Nobody knows hybrids like Toyota. Let's go places.
Lynn Family Stadium lit up tonight. Louisville City and Atlanta United 2 scoreless at halftime in this championship season opener. As we get you prepared for what lies ahead, Devin, we begin with news and notes around the championship. And how about Tuesday night? Are you busy?
I am busy. I got a date.
With me?
7 o'clock. Let's do it. SiriusXM. Join us. USL All Access. Every week, 7 o'clock. We'll talk the league, transfers, news, couple interviews. Hey, maybe even a phone in. You should hang out.
We'll have Jake Edwards along for week number 1 and maybe a surprise guest too. Marshawn Lynch is an owner in this league now.
He's joining the star-studded group of the celebrities, athletes.
Yep.
How do we group that together? I mean, Landon Donovan, owner turned coach turned motivator. I mean, you saw his video he put out on social media the other day, getting the San Diego boys going. How about Rising, by the way? At the forefront of everything again. 18% for 538. Know who's number 2? Tampa Bay Rowdies, 10%. Actually shocked that San Diego Loyal was at 11.
We don't have exact odds for the Central Division, but you and I seem to think it feels pretty obvious.
Yeah, Indy, Louisville, Tulsa, Birmingham, in no particular order, mind you. I actually think that Birmingham might have thrust themselves into that number 1 overall spot. Louisville fans might not like that. Of course, hey, there's a lot of football to be played between now and then, but, you know, a lot has gone on in OKC. 901. Ben Pierman, they took the interim tag off. Sporting Kansas City, too. They made some noise last year. And look at Atlanta United, too. It's 0-0 at half. Who knows?
Absolutely. And let's take a look at the upcoming schedule in the championship. Sponsored by COSAIR Charities. Help a child in our community now at cosair.org/donate. This is coming up next Friday. We're on the dose, ESPN2.
Yeah, excited for that one. They did some crazy things last year. They went back and forth and beat the heck out of each other in the Western Conference. Can't wait to be on that. But how about Hartford Athletic? Another new coach there, fighting John Wolenex. Are going to host them 7 o'clock Eastern time. And Mark Briggs, tell you what, this is a team watching that Western Conference. A lot of people sleeping on Sacramento Republic and Los Dos as well. Junior Gonzalez did a good job, but I think Sacramento Republic can make some noise.
And meanwhile, we'd be remiss not to mention Scouse's house is such a big part of the supporters culture here in Louisville. Andy Frederick is on the leadership team of that. He often went to games with his father, Frank. He passed away last month after a valiant battle with cancer. All the best to the Frederick family. He will be deeply missed. The second half is coming up.
So much opportunity here, so much room for growth. You just have to want it. There's actually no limit. My advice would be to take advantage of anything GEA has to offer. You just have to know what you want and go after it.
GE Appliance Park is now hiring permanent full-time positions for all shifts with immediate benefits. Learn more about this great opportunity and apply at makeitathepark.com. GE Appliances. We make good things for life.
When it comes to hybrid technology, nobody has more hybrid models than Toyota. From the Prius, the hybrid that started it all, to America's best-selling car, Camry, and best-selling SUV, RAV4, to the first-ever Corolla hybrid, the new best-in-class Highlander hybrid, and now the first-ever Sienna hybrid minivan, and Venza, the first exclusively all-wheel drive hybrid. They all come with a new 10-year, 150,000-mile battery warranty. Nobody knows hybrids like Toyota. Let's go places.
Till we on top. Quit, I think not. Coming hot for the #1 spot, yeah. No key, got the game on lock, ayy. Big threes when I take my shot, ayy. On the rise and we ain't gon' drop. On the grind, it's our time. Just watch.
Enjoying the sunshine and fresh air can be hard for many of us. Advanced ENT and Allergy is the regional leader in upper airway care. From allergies, sinus problems, sleep apnea, hearing health, and more, our medical team treats everyone like family. Advanced ENT and Allergy offers same-day appointments, and for many, no referral is needed. Our outstanding team of physicians, along with state-of-the-art technology, can get you breathing right, sleeping well, and feeling better sooner. Go to advancedentandallergy.com for your appointment. 8 locations.
There's the bridge in Butchertown. Louisville City and Atlanta United at the bridge between the first half and the second half. We do have first half highlights to show you and a second half right around the bend here. Dev, let's think all the way back here to this first half. Plenty to talk about. Plenty of decent saves, too. We begin in the 15th.
Actually, keep an eye on Vicente Reyes and what he was able to do for this Atlanta United 2 squad, because he made quite a few saves in the first half. So did Josh Bauer on the tail end of this thing. Great ball whipped in by Niall McCabe, and watch in traffic. Little deflection. Actually comes off Brennan Lamb, and then really well done by the goalkeeper. Cameron Lancaster wanted a handball. Not going to happen. Watch the counterattack. Love the inversion by Coleman Gannett. Just continues to drag. Jogo thought the shout was going to come here from Tyler Wolf, peeling off to the back post. Couldn't find him. Good save by Chris Hubbard. Let's fast forward. 33rd minute. Another set piece opportunity coming for Louisville City. Paolo Del Piccolo gets tricky. Catches Reyes cheating a little bit. Has a little go to the near post. Doesn't tuck it close enough. But another good save by Vicente Reyes to push this up over the bar. Better safe than sorry. 5 minutes forward. Last one of the half. Niall McCabe, great combination play. This is why John Hackworth got Jogo on the field. Reyes comes off the line and does well, but this has to be a quicker run, because the entire time you see that he's inverted himself, peels back out. This ball's going to come back across the 6 with a fury. Someone's got to crash the near post and stick it in.
Here are your halftime statistics. Possession heavily in Louisville's favor, and really the first 15 minutes, it seemed destined for the first goal of the year.
Could have been 1-2, 3-0 easily, but credit to Atlanta United too. You know, they stuck in it. They were able to withstand the pressure that was being put on them. A couple counter-attacking options, Coleman Gannon, Jackson Conway. Haven't really seen a lot out of Mateos on the left-hand side. And again, I'm still asking for more out of Tyler Wolf. I think the holding midfielders have done well. But in order to stay in this match, they're going to have to get a goal. Let's get that out of the way, because I don't see Louisville City not scoring in this match.
Chris Hubbard ready to go for this second half of play. Made that one big save. Today's nuggets of the match are brought to you by Chick-fil-A Kentuckiana. And we need multiple semicolons here, Devin, because the hometown roots do indeed run deep with this club.
Let's see. All-American at Trinity High School, by the way. Let's asterisk and add that in.
Put some respect on his
name. The editor, come on. I got to talk to the producer. Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year, I might add. Napo Masoso, immigrated to Minnesota to play at St. Francis, and Paolo Del Piccolo, University of Louisville. Legend, native, wonder boy. I mean, the guy does it all, right?
And with that in mind, Cameron Lancaster will kick us into the second half. And the race for the first goal of the USL Championship season, maybe the first 3 points, continues between Louisville City and Atlanta United 2. It's Tyler Wolf on the ball. Goes back to Josh Bauer. I think everyone was shocked that he fell as low in the draft as he did, Devin. 31st overall, second round.
A really good talent that had an opportunity actually in 2020. Went over to Birmingham Legion. Their head coach, Tom Sohn, only made 3 appearances for a grand total of something like 27, 28 minutes. So substitute appearances at the tail end of a match, but said he was a great trainee and felt like he could have possibly ended up with a USL team. But when you listen to every single coach, both at the collegiate level and getting an opportunity to cover the MLS draft, they all said that Josh Bauer, not only was he one of the top center backs, that he was one of the top players, and yet somehow dropped all the way to number 31. Atlanta United was surprised as we were.
Fifth, third free kick for Louisville City. Jean Tosh, USL Cup champion in Rochester, multiple USL Championship finals, and Eastern Conference finals in Louisville since. Danger brewing here through the legs of Wolf, whose pressure nearly siphoned the ball away. It's a long run here for Bone. Notably for Louisville, they are without Brian Ownby tonight. He picked up a knock the tail end of preseason. Really the first 8 weeks of preseason were sterling for the injury report. No missed training by anybody. Antoine Hopeno's available off the bench. He's dealing with an injury as well, a muscle pull. Ball wound across and handled by Reyes. Both sides remain unchanged at halftime. Tosh turns away from Conway. For Atlanta, they only traveled 16 and only one goalkeeper tonight. So while they can make the full allotment of field player subs, that's all they got. It was interesting, the reporting in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution was that Gabriel Heinze went to the homegrown players and the players who hadn't featured yet in MLS and said, do you want to go to Louisville this week? He left it up to the players. And it was about a 50-50 mixed bag.
I kind of like that move, though, from a managerial standpoint.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. We were clear on that pregame. It gives you an idea as new head coach within your organization, kind of where everybody stands, at least in your mind. Take that viewpoint either way.
Advantage played, good from Mateus, and knocks this off of Tosh. I mean, you spoke a lot about how that breeds trust among veteran players and even young players to make those decisions.
If I'm a manager and I see guys willing to step up and go alongside some of the younger guys to lead them when they're not necessarily going to get some reps with the main squad in Atlanta United and MLS, I think that's quality. That shows trust with a player. I think that's confidence as well. The willingness to not only push yourself into that scenario, but understand that you're not just stepping into play. You're becoming one of the leaders, one of the coaches for these guys, because you're running around with 17, 18-year-olds. And some of the players that have that opportunity, 28, 30, 32 years old, veterans when it comes to this level and this organization.
And this was an Atlanta team last year that seemingly every game set a new record for the youngest starting lineup they had ever fielded.
Well, both they and Philadelphia Union too, under Marlon LeBlanc, were it was really like, it was that little decimal point kept moving from 17.8, 17.7, kept dropping. But there is a bigger picture here, right, Mike? That they're trying to really utilize this level, this exposure to the best of their ability. They want to push Jackson Conway as hard as humanly possible because they have the trust. That's why they made him a homegrown this year, that he can break in to that squad within MLS. And can he? At this point in time, I don't think he's ready. I actually think that he's great in the air. He makes fantastic runs.
Speaking of fantastic runs, Bone ran out of real estate. Watts. It's Watts again. Del Piccolo. Heavy deflection. Lancaster got this away and scatter away, Groove Machine. Run.
Before Lancaster even finished on the follow through, he knew he hit this wrong, leaning back the entire way, just poking at it, and neither striker, Kevin Lancaster or Jackson Conway, at their best. And I think it's easy for us to kind of jump down everybody's throats, right? We're expecting the highest level, and we know what these teams are capable of. You remember that, of course, Louisville has been together for preseason quite some time, though I think scattered because of the injuries. I think you would probably be seeing, I know you would be seeing a very different starting 11 and 18 for John Hackworth if they were not there. I was actually really excited to see Jorge Gonzalez that they brought over from Portland Timbers.
And we were told it was a very freak injury that'll knock him out for an extended period of time. He had 8 goals in 10 games last year for Timbers too. ultimately, this is a Louisville team that thought they'd be playing in the U.S. Open Cup. That's since been at minimum postponed, if not entirely canceled. Certainly the idea that it's going to start as a round of 16 this spring is out of the question. But ultimately, you thought you'd have a lot more midweek games. There's depth here that was planning for that. Watts guides this over the end line.
For Louisville, that may be a blessing in disguise that they're not going through that, considering the injuries that they've picked up. You know, you're looking at a team running pretty deep on the bench. 23 sharp and, you know, at high quality levels as well. And then all of a sudden you're looking going, my 18 isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. You know, you're moving academy products in. Not that they don't deserve the chance because they're playing well. Winder, the reference.
Talk about depth, but I just saw Danny Cruz running down the line as he prepares.
He's warming up. Yeah. He's never willing to shy away from some of those preseason training sessions.
Louisville assistant coach. Saw some juice.
How about Tony Ennin? He's going to get 2 preseasons this year. Atlanta United 2, and then turn the corner back to the NCAA in South Carolina.
You have to be excited for him. 20 years working in academies in Atlanta. Atlanta United comes in and helps build this really strong academy in Georgia. There's so much talent down there. It's such an untapped resource.
He's just now going to the helm of South Carolina, lest we forget that Georgia Soccer Hall of Fame already.
So attempt there by Lancaster. Screaming effort. McCabe leading Gomez. The cutback ball launched away by Gannon. Boy, if Lancaster scores that, we're having a very different conversation. One up as a pair of scissors. Lancaster again, MVP of this league 3 short years ago. Menez misguided.
He connects on this thing. Jason Johnson sitting somewhere going, thank you for not dethroning me, because this has USL best goal ever written on it. I mean, he goes airborne on this, few inches off from connecting. Cameron Lancaster, really well done to put himself in a really nice position to be able to just get the opportunity off. Thought he had that far post picked out.
54 goals in all competitions. 51 in the regular season. Scored the championship final winning goal for Louisville City 2017.
There you go.
Okay. And we're going to see our first substitution. Substitution brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. And, well, these are 2 very different subs. Antoine Hopino replaces Niall McCabe. Hopino, Louisville fans know quite well, have become quite fond of. The other happens to be a club legend at their most bitter rival. Jimmy McLaughlin makes just his 2nd appearance since the end of the 2018 USL Championship season when he was with FC Cincinnati. Injured in 2019. Training at home before the MLS season 2020. Played the final home game at Nippert Stadium of the 2020 campaign after an ankle sprain knocked him out. The MLS is back his tournament. And now McLaughlin is wearing purple for Louisville. Player known intimately over the years by John Hackworth. And intriguing to say the least how he fits into this.
We'll watch the combination as well in the midfield 3, moving Napo Masoso to the 6 seemingly right now. That's not a look that we saw a lot last time out for Louisville City.
There's McLaughlin, run into by Camden. He's got Camden Faywell on the back of his jersey. That's the way it's been described previously. However, the roster in Atlanta has shortened that simply to Bradley Camden. For For those wondering if that name sounds a bit familiar, but not entirely so.
What's weirder, seeing Jimmy McLaughlin in Louisville purple or Tyler Gibson?
Yeah,
right.
Fair enough. There's the service off the corner towards Sawahi. And same with Robbie Mertz, isn't playing tonight for Atlanta United too. Came out of the Pittsburgh area with the Riverhounds. Felt like he could be the heir apparent to a Kevin Kerr-like career that seemingly goes on forever in Pittsburgh. Instead moves on to Atlanta this year. There's a couple of names where you go, really?
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I think Robbie Mertz has what it takes to get to the MLS level.
No question.
Truly do. That blue-collar grittiness that, you know, was instilled in him, and then at a young age, and then the technical abilities that were trained upon. Shaka Daly helped improve at the University of Michigan. And then, of course, Bob Lilly, the organizational skills, understanding different systems, thrived in pretty much all of them. Will be fun to see where his career heads while under Heinze at Atlanta United.
Camden's there again. And there's Conway. A lot of green in front of him in a retreating Louisville back line. Mateus. A can of corn for Hubbard. That won't get the job done tonight. Update elsewhere, quarter hour gone between Oklahoma City and FC Tulsa, the other match in the Central Division tonight. That's scoreless. The last 2 years, the first goal of the championship season was scored by players for Tacoma Defiance. 5 of the last 10 years, the modern era of the league, it's been scored by an MLS affiliated side. And believe it or not, George Davis IV actually scored the first goal of the 2013 campaign for Orange County.
Give him a shout. Bring him off the bench.
Perhaps it's Orlando City, come to think of it. These OCSCs always have me all mixed up.
That was the year that he actually played for Orange County, got loaned to Orlando City. So you're neither wrong nor right. let's get that out of the way.
No, I'm wrong.
60 minutes in, you're coming out of your preseason too. It's okay.
That's it. Soaring away, and McLaughlin took over and was run down by Conway. Jackson Conway really made his name as a youth product for Tony Annan at Georgia United before coming into Atlanta. Gomez turns on McFadden. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Past the hour mark in Kentucky.
I've been really impressed with Atlanta United and their ability to cut out the passing lanes for Louisville City. That is one area that you're going to have to keep an eye on if you're a Louisville fan and just a fan of the USL Championship in general. The departure of Speedy Williams has taken some things away. It's also added a couple options, one of which is that long ball that we became so accustomed to seeing, where Speedy could just drop in, quick little turn over the shoulder, drop the hip, and then an easy 40, 50-yard ball pinged across, stretch the field, open the attack up, and make the opposition chase a little bit. It's a different look now, starting with Akil Watts, now Napo Masoso. Tyler Gibson looks to fill that role as well. And it's a difficult change for a squad as you become so accustomed to having that option, that out, Mike, where now all of a sudden it's a little bit of extra running. You know, we talked about Sean Tosh and Lexi Swahi, how just like this, stepping up in, beating that initial line of press, and then what? They can't link up to the next level. It's great that you've got Napo Masoso 5 yards from you, but it's almost just like, okay, here, now where do we go? Now where do we go? Instead, we're used to seeing this team 3 or 4 steps ahead. Now they're almost having to play catch up because Atlanta United 2 is out in front of them.
Terrific from Lancaster. Menez crosses and snatched by Reyes. And by the way, Speedy Williams going to Miami FC. Watch out.
Yeah. They did some work too.
But you know something? Last year we probably went in thinking, okay, it's going to be a real battle for Charlotte or Charleston to jump over Miami, and Miami was hanging in the cellar with Atlanta when it was all said and done in Group H.
Pretty sure that's going to be a different argument this year.
I'm inclined to agree. That's a foul from Napo Masoso. He begs to differ. If you think about how this season lays out for these two sides, it's 3 straight on the road, including 2 in Oklahoma City for Atlanta. Then they get 5 straight home games in 3 weeks, all in the division. That's going to be a huge stretch for them. For Louisville, they're so backloaded in September and October, midweek games. This game against Atlanta, no opening game is a must win, but it does feel like there's a little added pressure with 2 weeks off following this, and maybe the couple of toughest teams you're going to see in the first half of the season. Camden didn't get a touch to that. This could be a really vital point, or Louisville likely assumed 3 coming into the night. McLaughlin. Just a tug on Allen. Tosh, watch out, he is on a yellow. Tosh is saying that's a dive. This may be his last warning.
He gets his hand on him for sure. And if you're Sean Tosh, this is one right in front of the referee. Better safe than sorry in this situation. It's going to take something special to be brandished a second yellow there. And he's saying Jackson Conway dives, but if you don't put yourself in that situation, you don't have to have the referee second guess you. You know, by chasing it in the middle, the way that this game is going, you're doing one of 2 things. You're pulling yourself out of position, number 1. And number 2, you're exposing yourself, because if you don't win that and Jackson Conway turns you, we're seeing Mateus feeling much more comfortable on the left-hand side, and we know that Coleman Gannon is more than willing to on the right.
Wolf gets it wide. McFadden. Lamb started to peel away. Allen. Wiley. Gets by McLaughlin. Wiley. There's Hubbard. The first of 18 nationally televised regular season games airs Friday, April 30th on ESPN2. A budding rivalry writes a new chapter. One of the USL Championship's newest venues, Phoenix Rising FC, welcomes San Diego Loyal SC, 10 p.m. Eastern. Phoenix, San Diego, ESPN2, Friday, April 30th at 10 p.m. Eastern. Last year, San Diego walked off the field. A player from Phoenix accused of using a homophobic slur. He remains suspended for the first 2 games of this campaign. And both Colin Martin and Landon Donovan both quite outspoken after the fact. And so those 2 sides collide just a week into the season. There'll be a lot of eyes on that game for the quality of play, but also one of the really painful moments of 2021. Service here goes winding through. Cut back toward the penalty spot, didn't quite reach Conway.
Much like Birmingham in the East, in terms of a most improved off-season acquisitions.
San Diego.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, at all levels, too. You and I have discussed this multiple times off air. Banky Izio coming from Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Jack Blake from the Monarchs. And, of course, Corey Herzog with the dissolution of Reno 1868, Ian Russell's boys. Stepping in there. A team that already had some quality talent.
Holpino tried to get that by. It's going to roll in, but it's not going to count. The offside flag is up. We thought we had goal number 1, not yet. Did Holpino get a haircut this offseason? I don't think so. Devin, you and I both got, you know, our standard hairdos. Pompano's just letting it grow out.
Well, that's one of the ones you let everything else go, and you just tell the boys in the dressing room, you grab your own clippers and say, guys, a little uptown fade before we hit the town. Let's go.
Soso is put under pressure by Wolf. That's simple there for Louisville, weaving it in and out of this midfield pocket. Soso goes in, won it cleanly. I think ultimately, as we look back on the expectations for this match, Atlanta United too, so little was known about them, how they were going to play. Led ahead by Jimenez. McLaughlin careens off of Camden and put out by McFadden. I think it would be easy to say, what's wrong with Louisville? I think Atlanta's come here and really played their game quite well.
Yeah, they've done well for themselves for sure. And I actually think they look a totally different team since the opening 15 minutes. And I'm not even talking about Louisville's play, Mike. I just think they've become more comfortable in the environment. You know, there's a lot of noise here. The fans, raucous and rowdy are terms that are usually thrown around. Notice the pitch is also drying up a little bit. Not as many slips that we've seen, and that confidence breeding for Atlanta United. Their press defensively has been great. It's really caused frustration in the back line of Louisville to play out.
Jimenez, Del Piccolo! The first goal of the championship season belongs to the Louisville captain. Louisville leads at Lynn Family Stadium. A nice cross and a strong-willed header into goal in the 69th minute.
And sometimes when it's not going your way, you dig down deep and just push yourself to another level. Captain Fantastic, Paolo Del Piccolo, just rips this off the ceiling and throws it into the bottom corner. Mike, you talked about his willingness to be the guy in that 2018 run. Injuries push him off, 19 and 20. Almost loses his place in this team to the point that now he's irreplaceable. You cannot go a conversation without Louisville City without talking that man, Paolo Del Piccolo. Brad Estes said about bringing James O'Connor back, it was guys like Del Piccolo and the hardworking blue-collar organization-first mentality was the reason that O'Connor came back. That's exactly why right there. When you can't put the pieces together, your captain rises up and does it for you.
That goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. Tanner Wolf's night is over. Philip Goodrum has replaced him for ATL UTD2. 20 minutes to go, and Atlanta concedes on a great set-piece service, the first assist for Oscar Jimenez, who only had 2 a year ago. And Goodrum, 16 appearances a year ago, bagged a couple of goals. Tyler Gibson came on for Napo Masoso after the goal as well. Sub brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. And this current confrontation has gone above and beyond between Holpino and McFadden.
Antoine Obano wasn't happy with the fact that it looked like Hayden McFadden quickly threw this off. Jonathan Gomez, who was trying to get back, and they're playing in transition. Frustration by McFadden, but you can't throw it into him. Foul throw at that, by the way. Obano not one to shy away from conversation with the opposition. Thought maybe he was trading hairstyling tips, gel or the rub-in pomade, John Paul Mitchell style.
know if the tweet's rolling fast enough. I'm going to let Devin dress me for the opening ESPN 2 game.
I got you.
Phoenix and
Let's
San
go,
Diego.
Man. Let's go.
You know, Devin knows how to dress the slender man. I don't know about anyone else, but we'll find out perhaps. In goes Gibson, who played every minute last year for Indy 11 and is coming off the bench here tonight for Louisville. 12 in purple, making his club debut. Goodrum with fresh legs, peeling into the back of Gomez.
Very good defending. And you can't say enough about this young man and what Jonathan Gomez does. Those fresh legs of Goodrum moving out onto the right-hand flank. Coleman Gannon coming into the 10. Jonathan Gomez just uses everything to his advantage here. Cuts the angle down, gets his body out in front. Momentum. Textbook.
By the way, they just announced a new club record attendance for this venue. Last year, it was about a third capacity. This year, it's 50%. So they'll set that record time and time again. Look at McLaughlin chase in his second game of the past 2 years. Over 7,000 here today after the governor adjusted the rules as it relates to COVID-19. And capacity of open air venues. Also of note, this was the first year of Louisville City's longtime public address announcer, Lance McGarvey, as the U of L men's basketball public address announcer at the KFC Yum Center.
Added onto the resume for that man.
You can hear that voice anywhere. Jimenez knocks it back. Gibson. We'll look for this Gomez and Holpino partnership. Holpino dealing with an injury at the tail end of preseason, a muscle pull. Available off the bench, was not available to start tonight. Good interchange here, and it leads to Lancaster. Referee looks, gives advantage. Oscar Jimenez with space. Knocks it wide. Jimmy McLaughlin. Jimenez. Jimenez. Ball bobbled and recovered by Reyes, and Del Piccolo and Camden make amends after that. They almost found themselves dancing right into the purple family.
It's one of the better sequences we've seen out of Louisville City, though. And Jimmy McLaughlin, I love the initial touch, and then the second one, he knows the run's coming. He has the space if he wants to take it himself, but instead, unselfish, allows it to develop, and just picks him out.
Lancaster from a long way out. Dev, what's a good year for Cameron Lancaster?
26 goals in 2018. Is that greedy on my end?
That's a historic year.
32 games.
Yeah. He had 11 last year in 16.
It was in 16, yeah. John Hackworth is definitely looking for 15 plus. I think he's going to be a good year, a great year is 20 plus goals again. Yeah. They expect nothing less than 15 though. And to be fair, coming in, if you look at the rest of this team, they're going to need that as well. You don't know what Jimmy McLaughlin is going to bring to you. You're going to pull a couple out of midfield. You know, the fact that Corbin Bone was able to pick off 6 last year, that's out of character for him, so to say, considering that in 3 seasons, 4 if you include the inaugural year for FC Cincinnati and MLS, he's got 16 goals. So right around 4 a year, jumps to 6. Needs some help up top.
Driven ball forward. There's Bone. Completes the clearance. And the offside flag was up. Fans head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Dr. Mark Lennon Associates Man of the Match. Poll open the next few minutes. Vote now, twitter.com/Lou City. All the while, own the moment in 2021 with the latest in clear personal audio products. The USL And Clear Audio have partnered to offer fans a chance to win headphones designed to get you ready for the match. Visit uslchampionship.com/sweepstakes and enter code CLEAR-ESPN by April 30th to enter. How many times do I need to say that, Dev, to get a set of my own?
Couldn't hear you. Didn't have my Clear headphones on.
No, you did not. No. You just saw up on the board Joaquin Rivas in the 29th minute. FC Tulsa leads the Black Gold Derby. FC Tulsa up 1-0 against OKC. Alex Garuba comes on, replaces Mateus for Atlanta. Sub brought to you by MHS Global.
Good pickup for FC Tulsa if they can keep him healthy. Joaquin Rivas going back home, so to say. 2 quality years for the then Tulsa Roughnecks, now FC Tulsa. 17 goals over 2 seasons.
Is it fair to say most everybody is sleeping on FC Tulsa this year? I think we know better. Do you find them a clear fourth in the Central?
No, I don't. I actually think the exact opposite. I think in the Central, yeah, they're the easy clear fourth. I don't necessarily think, I'm not on that wagon, if you will, personally. It's a team that people jumped onto that last year, gave them, I think they probably gave them more credit than necessary, just given the way that the games played out. That's not their fault who they had to play, right? You know, we were all grateful, we should say, that we were able to get a season in, and they couldn't control who was in their group, but you know, duking it out against some of the teams that were in there. OKC, Austin.
Lancaster went back to Gomez.
A lot of people are on them for guys that have come in, some international names as well. I do think Michael Insien is an extremely underrated coach in this league.
Yes.
Underrated, up and coming.
You and I get a chance to talk to every coach in the league, and he's just got a very down-to-earth approach to him, but also you can tell the wheels are always turning.
He moves me. You know, it's one of those things that every time you get on the phone with him, you speak with him, whatever it may be, there's a new idea, a new conversation, something that you turn your head and go, wow, didn't know that, or didn't see that coming. Something along those lines. I have a lot of respect for him.
80th minute, Louisville 1, Atlanta United 2-0.
Yes, Alex. Yes, Alex. Yes. Come on.
Tosh wiping this back across. Suwahi. Uh-oh. Garuba. Here comes Alex Garuba laying this back. Off the turn, Conway tried to lay that down for Allen. It was a misplay, but you watched a lot of highlights of Center College getting ready for this game, trying to get a good idea of what Alex Garuba was going to bring to the field. And you came away with the same thought that prevails in a lot of places. Goal scorers, regardless of level, have a nose for it, a knack for it.
They find a way, right? And the argument was, I don't care if you score 55 goals in high school and college, whether it's D3, D2. Heck, a Sunday Pub League, you're doing something right. Now, that success is going to follow. You have an idea of what you're trying to do, and Atlanta United 2 trying to do something else here. The debut of Chris Allen in midfield, done. 81 pretty solid minutes defensively. I think the midfield 3. It's been lackluster at best. We saw the switch with Tyler Wolf not living up to par, if you will, and Coleman Gannon stepping in now. Efrain will join the attack.
Morales for Allen is a sub brought to you by MHS Global. Gibson. A truer number 6, as it might be. The kind of guy Martin Rennie, his former coach in Indy, would claim ran 13, 14 kilometers per game. That's a lot of miles, folks. McLaughlin. McLaughlin, Lancaster, all tied up. McFadden, Goodrum. Leading ball into the penalty area, trouble. Lancaster went all the way down. Appeared to catch McFadden in an uncharacteristic way. Referee flipped his wrist up as if to say, get back to your feet. And Louisville may have gotten away with one there. And Atlanta's going to feel hard done. The attack continues. Here's the cross. Wiley. This is an Atlanta team that at the USL Championship level has struggled to find really any success. 14th in the East their first 2 years in a full Eastern Conference table. 4th of 4 in their group last year. The Five Stripes managed to pick out, however, 12 academy players, place them into pro rosters in that time. Dividends are there, but they haven't shown on the field. Trying to avoid a season opening loss tonight. This will get out. Dev, how close were we to a penalty?
This is a penalty. It's simple enough, and Louisville fans are going to be really lucky in this situation. Fantastic patience here by Goodrum on this right-hand side to allow the McFadden run develop, and that's why. In from behind, there's enough there. 100% right in front of the referee. All due respect to Cameron Lancaster. It's a forearm shove on the back numbers. You can't get this decision any more wrong.
There is a change here. Lancaster's day is done. We only saw George Davis IV twice. The 250+ appearances now in the USL Championship for George Davis IV. No one's played in more games in this league's modern history. He's also now the team administrator as part of his new contract as he prepares for what life after soccer will look like. Thoughts on Lancaster's performance last play notwithstanding?
Looks like he's coming out of preseason. I think a lot of the guys do right now for Louisville. They look shook. Probably felt like they should have been a little bit further down the track than they are right now in comparison to Atlanta United too, but that'll come with time. Put himself in some good moments. And you could tell that a couple of turns that he had didn't feel truly comfortable over the ball.
Ball launched forward. Garuba in a foot race. Menez won that race. The sub, Davis for Lancaster, brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. That's the third sub window used by Louisville, so it appears Pat McMahon and Joshua Winder will not feature tonight unless there were to be a head injury. That's a new rule across all areas of the U.S. pyramid, male and female, for this year. 2 potential concussion substitutions. Regardless of whether you have any substitutions remaining available to you, windows or the 5, which I think you and I both, Devin, can agree is for the betterment of the game in the long run.
Correct. You know, that rule, law, however they're going to phrase it, is going to need some tweaking, I can tell you, just given the subjective nature of it. But it's 100% a move in the right direction.
Something Taylor Twellman, of course, has advocated for quite some time. In the USL Championship was among the first to dip their toes in that water a few years ago as well. Not one of the first, they were the first pro league.
Correct, yeah.
4 minutes to go here, plus stoppage time. Louisville to try and seal the 3 points, or for Atlanta to try and strike late, grab a point, maybe more. There's George Davis IV. Davis whips the cross through. Del Piccolo has a brace. 2-0 Louisville. 2 goals all last year. He's got 2 on opening night.
The old guard just plunges right through everything. Paolo Del Piccolo opened the account in the 69th minute. off that magnificent ball from Oscar Jimenez. Father Time not slowing down. George Davis IV, great overlapping run. Watch his head up the entire time. Kids at home, check the eyes. Surveying everybody, where are my options? Got Jimmy McLaughlin on the back post, and Del Piccolo cheekily comes to the inside shoulder. The back line can't pick up the runners. 2 weeks shy of his 34th birthday. George Davis IV just serving up sauce left and right in front of goal, and Del Piccolo finishes it off.
That goal is presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. The Kentucky Lottery. Career appearance in the championship, number 234 for George Davis IV. Tonight he eclipses 15,550 minutes. He's the only player to feature in all 11 seasons of the USL Championship. 2 goals for Del Piccolo, an assist for George Davis, and an assist for Oscar Jimenez tonight.
Definitely hasn't been the prettiest, but this place is rocking now. Capacity or not. The Morados, the Coopers, even the new bunch. Louisville Ledgehogs coming in. Todd Lanham and the Lou Guru leading that group, section 121. You and I have had the fortunate experience of getting to hang out with most of them firsthand.
Championship finals,
championship final, yeah.
Podcasts and the like. And the fun thing for me, Dev, is seeing how, whether it be in Kennesaw or in Louisville, up and down in between, it's been a really remarkable experience for these fans over the past 13 months.
Agreed.
And to see them continue to support and get back in the stands. For some, it'll be their first time in well over a year, especially out on the West Coast, seeing their team in person. For Louisville, they had fans from day one, but 7,500 plus tonight is a new venue record. Stadium that holds just over 15,000. Good work by Hopino, and he'll try and eat up some time at the end line. Wow. Free kick.
Heck of a challenge here by Riley Candom. Antoine Hopino, great job down in the corner to kill some clock off. Whether it be Lynn Family Stadium or to the Northeast, down to Ricardo da Silva, Miami FC, to the West Coast. Phoenix Rising, New Did, San Diego Loyal, doing well for themselves. The opportunity to continue to add fans. Beyond grateful for as game of tag continues in the corner. Well done, Del Piccolo.
That'll be a corner. Stoppage time presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Referees adding 3 minutes to the tail end of the opening 90 of the season in the USL Championship. Pause the delivery. Davis IV can't do anything more with that, and Atlanta begins their last gasp to try and get something here late. For Louisville, their next game Saturday, May the 8th. And there's not a soul in Louisville cares for this team. I would dare to say most fans in this league should be watching, because it's against that vastly improved on paper Birmingham Legion side. And knowing how scouting works, I would think Tommy Sohn probably will be listening to this at some point. He and Jay Heaps have done a wonderful job.
They're already in the engine room with the video on repeat, picking out exactly where they're going to attack.
Sure, sure.
How about for Atlanta United too? The journey, like you said, to start. I think it's interesting that 3 on the road, though, back-to-back against OKC Energy FC. Interesting that one coming just a week from today. An hour hour later, mind you, at Taft Stadium, and then 2 weeks after that, so they'll get a little break off, regroup, and figure out what they liked and didn't like over the opening 2 matches of the 2021 USL Championship season. Heat turns up after that. FC Tulsa, 901. What is Memphis 901 FC and Ben Pierman going to look like this year? I don't think a lot of people know the answer to that, myself included. Birmingham, Louisville, it's one of those 5 that you talked about where they will be at home. Very winnable games in there as well. Sporting Kansas City 2, 901, OKC. You think in their opening 10 matches, could win a couple of those.
There's Gomez beyond McLaughlin. Can Louisville turn the lights out once more? Morales grinding across midfield. Further here by Conway. Launches forward for Goodrum. And this should take us to the end of the night. The full-time whistle. First 2 goals, first 3 points. This USL Championship season belonged to Louisville City. 2 close friends, Tony Annan, soon to depart for the University of South Carolina, and John Hackworth meet postgame. And the light show continues. It's an opening win for Louisville City on opening night of the 2021 championship season.
Sure wasn't pretty at times, Mike, and questionable in certain areas. But how could it not be, as tonight's Dr. Mark Lynn and Associates Man of the Match is their captain, Captain Fantastic, Mr. Louisville, Paulo Del Piccolo. 69th and 87th minute, courtesy of Oscar Jimenez, George Davis IV. The mark of true champions at times, where even when it's not going your way, you find and will your way to victory. Exactly that can be said of Blue City in their opening match of the 2021 campaign.
That was the penalty that wasn't an inflection point. Could have had a chance to make it 1-1. Del Piccolo scored in the 69th. Again, late to seal it. John Hackworth enjoys the light show. We'll wrap this one up when we return to Lynn Family Stadium.
When it comes to hybrid technology, nobody has more hybrid models than Toyota. From the Prius, the hybrid that started it all, to America's best-selling car, Camry, and best-selling SUV, RAV4, to the first-ever Corolla hybrid, the new best-in-class Highlander hybrid, and now the first-ever Sienna hybrid minivan, and Venza, the first exclusively all-wheel drive hybrid. They all come with a new 10-year, 150,000-mile battery warranty. Nobody knows hybrids like Toyota. Let's go places.
Last year, over 20,000 children experienced abuse or neglect in Kentucky. COSAIR Charities Face It movement has united over 100 agencies to end this epidemic. But we need your help. Keeping kids safe is an adult responsibility. Get prevention, parenting, and advocacy information now. Be the face that ends child abuse. Learn how and make a donation now at faceatabuse.org.
Final score brought to you by Gorski Law Office. 2-0 Louisville City over Atlanta United 2, as Paulo Del Piccolo and this Louisville City side salute the 7,500 that made their way out. The lights are finally back on. And with Devin Kerr, Mike Watts to wrap this one up. Dev, you'd have to say an exciting match here for Louisville City in that they get the job done. It was a slow start in some ways, getting that final touch, but they eventually got where they wanted to go.
For sure, 3 points. Again, you're not always going to go out and execute exactly the game plan that you want to. It's going to be hard. The elements are going to come in the way, but they found a way to get 3 points, and most importantly, moving on unscathed in terms of injuries. They're happy.
Here's tonight's Toyota move of the game. Let's go places. George Davis, one of the few, I should say, to play in all 11 seasons of the championship.
This guy has had 19 assists. This is number 19, actually, in his entire USL championship career. This one comes just 2 minutes after coming onto the pitch. Lovely little sidestep, great ball back across to pick out his captain, Paolo Del Piccolo, to seal the match in the 87th minute of the opening match. Great job for George Davis IV. Just a few minutes, and that man right there, Paolo Del Piccolo, Louisville City.
And Paolo Del Piccolo, 2 goals a year ago in 15 games, bags a pair here tonight. And a good start for Louisville City. Their next game Saturday, May the 8th at home against Birmingham. For Atlanta, they go on the road to Oklahoma City on May the 1st. ESPN2, Phoenix and San Diego coming up on Friday as well. You'll want to watch our USL Championship game of the week. We've waited a long time to say this for our entire crew here at Vista World Link, led by producer Sharni Yerke, director Gage Tillotson, Manny Simone, Devin Kerr alongside Mike Watts, saying Lou City 2, Atlanta 0. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.